Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to another episode of Soul Inspiration by Antidote Center. Today we have the pleasure of talking to the prestigious and world-renowned Dr. Jean-Louis Benae. How you doing today, boss?
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Very good, man. We want to say a big thank you for allowing us to come into your private space, man. I know you're a busy man being on call today, so we just want to appreciate the time, man.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. How are things going with you? How's work? How's the family?
Well, everything is, I'll say, stable.
Stable.
Not crazy going on. Work is work.
Work is work.
We're getting busy with this call week. I've been on call, but the typical clinics activities are going, and we're doing well.
Very good. Thank God for that, man. Being a foot and ankle guy, I'm usually looking down at people's feet. I know you look up, being a neurosurgeon, but we're going to talk a little bit about the nice kicks we got over there. I'm sure there's some stories behind them. So let's talk about the oldest pair you got, man. Which are the oldest? What's the story behind it?
That's right. That's just the oldest pair.
Okay. All right. Pick it up.
Yeah,
Let's see, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think that kind of reminds me way back after, I got my first job.
Okay. Where was that at?
I was in Mississippi. I took my first position actually as a staff neurosurgeon in a multi-specialty clinic in Mississippi.
How was that, man?
Well, it was
African
definitely
in Mississippi.
Well, but the thing is, when you get focused in what you got to do, all the rest is kind of noise.
Like you just block all of it.
Yeah. And I tell you the truth, it was actually a good time for me to build a little bit of neurosurgical experience with more advanced surgeons before taking on having a solo practice. So it was really good. It gave me some time to grow within the field. That's right. And that's also the time I had a little bit of money.
A little bit. No longer a resident.
So I went straight up and said, okay, well, just get me one of those that looks solid and fine. I liked it.
All right. Those some Gucci's right there.
Yeah. But that's way back, man.
Okay. Were they comfortable? Are they comfortable?
Yeah, no, they're okay. They're okay. Actually, I tolerated them for a long time, really. And that's one thing with me. I'm not particular with shoes, but when it comes to comfort, man, that's key. I'll rather take some random shoe that's comfortable than anything
over style. Comfort over style, right?
Yeah. Comfort.
How long ago would you say that was?
Well, that was probably for 12, 13 years.
13 years? Yeah. They still look good, man. Yeah. I think you can still wear them.
Yeah. Again, I don't wear them that often too. That's maybe why.
That's probably why. Okay. Very good. All right. How about the newest pair, man?
The newest pair is this one.
Tell us a little bit about
that. You see that it looks
still shiny.
That's actually yesterday. I was heading to the local mall to change my phone.
Okay.
And as I'm walking, I see the store.
Of course, you're just minding your business.
I'm just trying to get to change my phone.
Of course.
I just look at this store and I see this pair of shoes. I'm like, wow. I was dressed in black.
Okay.
And I have the ring that's black and gold.
Black and gold.
Oh,
man.
Wow. That would match very well.
100%.
For some reason, I just got captivated by the shoe. Went in there, ended up getting 2 shoes.
Yeah, that's marketing now. Wherever you guys are doing the right marketing for sure.
And guess what? As soon as I bought them, I'm like, I want to wear them now.
Oh, you put them on?
Oh yeah, that's
wow.
Typically, that's how I get most of my shoes because I rarely just get up to go and look for a certain shoe. So when I get captured by a shoe, I really like it.
Yep.
And I want to wear it and I buy it there. That's how I usually do.
Makes sense. Decision maker, man. You're not wasting any time. I like it. And tell us a little bit about this, man.
Yeah,
what's the story behind this?
Kind of like my astronaut type shoes.
Definitely. I mean, that's the change. Okay. High tops. I mean, come on.
You see, the thing is, I'll tell you, this shoe is so comfortable. It's a shoe that I tried one time again, just randomly at the mall.
Wow.
Maison Margiela, French brand. But the comfort is what really got me.
Really?
It was like I think he was trying to get a little cold, and so it was really nice and warm and comfortable. And I felt that it's a little different, It's
unique. I'll tell you that.
Exactly.
It's really unique.
And frankly, I like unique things. Yeah.
I like it, man.
And I wear it a lot, you know. It's funny.
So what's a typical day for you? Like, I mean, you're in the operating room for hours and hours. What do you usually have on your feet?
Well, so I have some regular Crocs.
You know, okay. So you're a Croc guy?
Yeah, I'm a Croc guy. I have regular Crocs.
Shout out to Crocs, man. Y'all need to pay this guy.
Yeah. So I have a pair of Crocs for, you know, each specific facility.
Really?
And
wow.
I wish I'd purchase some. They look different. They look unique too.
So not the typical Crocs, not the typical Crocs, not the Walmart Crocs.
Because, you know,
first the Walmart.
I love my comfort. I love to feel good
about
what I do, you know.
Makes sense.
And really, when it comes to me, I don't like to compromise. And if you know, it's gonna be a little bleed in the pocket.
Yep.
Well, so that's what it is. So I mean,
you can't play with your health, man.
Yeah, you need to be comfortable. And we stay there for long times, and then. And sometimes you're already challenged by what's going on. You don't want any extra challenges.
No, definitely not. Or else you got to come see me, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense. So we talked a little bit a second ago. You said you were a neurosurgeon. For people who don't understand what that is, just break that into layman's terms. Sure. What is a neurosurgeon? And how do you become a neurosurgeon?
Yeah. So basically, a neurosurgeon is a doctor that specializes in providing a surgical treatment to any disease process that involves the nervous system, meaning the brain, the spinal cord, or the peripheral nerves. And the training, just to kind of get you into how I got here, it's a rather long training. You know, you have to first go through the university, obtain your first degree, your bachelor, your undergrad. Then you get into medical school and then finish your 4 years of medical school. Then you go on a residency specialty that's typically 7 years.
7 years.
In my case, right after the general track of medicine, right after med school, I took a year to do a little bit more of research in brain and spine injury. So just to get myself ready, that's what I really wanted to get into. And then the year after, I started the training in neurosurgery. I did my training at the Medical College of Affiliated Hospital in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, mind you, college and med school was in LA.
I
did college and med school in LA.
You left Hollywood and went to Wisconsin. I like it.
I needed to be more serious.
Of course. No distractions.
Yeah. But, you know, nonetheless, I mean, it's so busy. Your schedule is so busy and so involved that time goes by. And that's why you have to gather, you know, your life in such a way that you live as you go. You can't be like, okay, I'm going to wait till I'm done training, then I leave. No, you got to do all of it together. The family, your other realization, you know. And like any other field, man, you have to have some kind of passion to get into it. Because, if you don't, then the challenge is going to slow you down.
Absolutely.
You know, and you see, when I talk about my story in you know, going to training here for neurosurgery, you know, you cannot underestimate what my background is. You know, originally from Cameroon, a French-speaking country.
French-speaking side.
So mind you, when I came here at age 19, I wasn't really speaking English.
Really?
I learned the language here.
Wow.
Yeah, I was speaking mostly French. Wow. You know, and that's why, I mean, every time I think about how my dad believed in me, like when I told him, hey, I really want to go study over there. I want to go study medicine over there.
Wow.
He was the only one that said, okay, you know what? We're going to invest.
We're going to invest in.
Yeah. And then, so my early challenges to get into this track was to catch up with the language barrier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was taking extra time, just, you know, studying extra English classes and stuff. And I knew, for instance, when I was studying for the MCAT, that my main challenge was the English part of it. So that's what I really studied the most. But, you know, I still managed to get a spot, you know, I mean, because the, you know, the training of a neurosurgeon is got multi-dimension. You know, I mean, you have the ability to do you need to have the ability to do the quick, fast thinking, but you need to have some level of resilience and mindsets to deal with challenging moments. So it's just a whole big picture. And I felt that, you know, all along with the belief that I didn't want to disappoint my parents.
Makes sense.
I was like, that's not a problem. I remember one of the counselors telling me, hey, Jean-Louis, because I went there, I'm like, sir, how can I get to med school?
Med school, wow.
He's like, well, sir, you got a bigger problem, the language. I'm like, don't you worry about
that. Don't worry about that.
That's what I got.
How do I get to this track, right?
Then years later, I come back and present him the admission, like, hey, you see that? So I'm like, listen, you see, people have their own direction. You know, people have, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know the inside motivation that they got.
Exactly.
And that goes a long way, you know, for maybe any of the youngster that might be interested in the field. You have to build a belief. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one will. No one will. And you, at the end of the day, you have that responsibility. I mean,
absolutely.
And it's feasible, you know, and that's kind of what I like about this country, you know. When you are given the opportunity to perform, I mean, your performance, if it's good, is recognized.
Recognized. Now, you know, I know you had the zeal, you had the passion. Did you always want to be in medicine? How young were you when you realized I wanted to be in medicine?
Yes, yeah, it goes all the way back to Cameroon. So I come from a family of, 5 boys and 1 girl. The girl is the oldest. So I follow some twin brothers. One of them, very young, when I think we were in our early teens, 12, 13. They're 2 years older than me. I think they were 14, I was 12. He had a meningitis back in Cameroon. Wow. Now, mind you, despite the very good social standing that my parents provided us, it was still a challenge to treat this guy. He almost went into coma.
Really?
If it wasn't because dad had the ability to get a private jet, medicalized jet, to get him out of there, he probably wouldn't have made it.
Wouldn't have made it.
Yeah. So that I think that's really the first time I got really hit by the idea of medicine.
Yeah.
And I felt, because I felt like, damn, we're all so powerless here. All these big doctors around, all these very wealthy people, but this kid could have died. So I started having an interest there. Then when I was in France, I started actually after finishing Cameroon, I went to France.
Okay. How old were you then when you
went? Like 18, 17. So I get there, and then I tell my dad, you know what, I want to go study medicine in the States. I just didn't know
why America?
Well, that's good. That's good. First of all, I had a personal experience in France that kind of disturbed me.
Really?
Yes. What is it? I was just walking to school, minding my own business, and then a police officer just approaches me and says, "Hey, sir, just random check. I need your documentation." That kind of bothered me, because I'm like, I mean, how come I cannot just walk
down the street without being bothered, right?
For no reason. And also I had an opportunity early in when I was in France to come to San Francisco to spend a summer in one of the universities, just a summer program. I kind of like the mentality, the fact that there's a lot more flexibility in how you can shape your training, like for instance in Europe, if you want to get into medicine, you study right after high school. Right. Here you've got like a 4-year program that allows you to mature and then see. I mean, I've had friends that went in that did an undergrad in music that ended up being neurosurgeon, colleagues like that.
And it allows for that, right?
Yeah. So you have that flexibility to mold yourself. And so I went back home. I told my dad, no, I just cannot be comfortable here in Europe. Give me the chance to get the training in the US. And he's like, you know what, we'll do it.
Wow. Did you have any family here?
No, I had no family.
Just boom.
Well, let me tell you something. That's very
Typical
interesting.
Africa. Talk to me, man.
So obviously, in the family, there's got some questions. Where is he really want to go for? Is it for real? Is he going to do some work? He wants to go to
is there a girl out there that,
and because obviously I said, I want to go to Los Angeles.
Right.
Of all the places, I want to go to California.
Right.
But my dad just said, you know what, you got to listen to me, give him a chance. And, he works with a lot of people, so that are worldwide everywhere. So he got his associates to get me to find a university in California. I studied in San Jose. I came there. I remember the only word that I knew was hello.
Wow. No French kids speaking French in San Jose.
And I think, when you think about it, anytime you move into a place and you just immerse yourself, naturally, you're forced to, it's a brain, natural capability.
Absolutely. The osmosis.
You immerse,
you're
and
picking
then
up everything.
you have to, because nobody is going to
babysit you.
Yeah, nobody. I had nobody to talk for me.
Exactly.
I had to handle it. So eventually it comes there.
Yes.
So and then he actually was able to come when I graduated from med school. The graduation was at UCLA. He came with a big entourage.
So he was so proud, man.
He was proud. He was proud. And then then I went into Wisconsin, started doing my residency training.
Okay.
But it passed when I was in my like 6th, 7th year.
That.
Like maybe 2 years before I finished. But, and that's kind of what also starts in the whole idea about me going back home, because when it passes, the day that it passes, I'm here operating on I think it was a older gentleman with blood in the head that had a subdural, 90-year-old guy with a subdural that we operated, and he survived well.
Wow.
And there it is, my dad that's 68 is passing, and I'm like, man, what kind of nonsense is this? And I was like, I got to do everything I can you got to give back to those that supported you the most, from a financial standpoint, emotional standpoint. I'm sure if I didn't have that, like that deep respect, not to want to disappoint him, things would have been different. So that's kind of how I came up to, okay, that's when I'm a little settled, I'm gonna go back home, try to do stuff, because obviously I have a family here, I have kids, wife, so it's not easy to be as engaged with back home. But fortunately, I have a wife that she does everything for me she makes it easy for me to go back and get things done.
That's such a blessing, man. Now, you were born in Cameroon. Your first formidable years were in Cameroon. Did you grow up, with your dad and your mom? Were they very involved?
Yes.
In the family? Was it a close-knit family?
Yes. So it was a typical African family, So we have the nuclear family, but obviously there's a lot of all the side, the uncle, the cousin, everybody. Yes. The father is raising the whole village.
Literally.
Now it turns out, he was a big figure over there in the army. He was a general. So he had the means. So usually he's like the patriarch. So we grew up very tight, with a lot of folks around us. I'll say that I was fortunate that whatever I was asking my dad, he had always been very, good and allowing me to do that, travel abroad very early, expose us to different cultures. So that's definitely, that was definitely a good thing,
Absolutely.
And even when I was here and I was only like 19, 20, and I was constantly in communication with him, even when he wasn't here physically. But having said that, I can't underestimate the fact that a good part of my life has been essentially me and myself. Because imagine you come to a country at age 19, now I'm 51 now, and all this time you have to have a certain discipline, and you have to have a certain build, because the temptation for the youth are unimaginable. In Los Angeles.
Hey, by yourself. Come on now, freedom. That's definitely something. Now, were you raised as a person of faith? Was there faith in the house?
Yes. So very, very interesting. My dad raised us. We were both Catholic. Both parents are Catholic. Yeah. So we were raised on the Catholic faith.
Absolutely.
One thing that I admire about my dad is that he made sure he exposed us to various religions. So there was never a strict discipline as to the religious faith that you want to engage into. In fact, it was one that did a lot of reading and was encouraging us very early to read a lot with other religions, Eastern philosophy. So we were all Catholic, and then
how about your wife? When you met your wife, was she Catholic too?
as well. Yeah.
Did you meet her in Africa or here?
No, I met her in LA when I was in
LA.
school.
See, that's why you went to LA. See, the truth comes out now. Beautiful.
Yes,
talk to me. How'd you
so very interesting. So obviously, I'm a young Cameroonian in LA. There's a Cameroonian community. We love soccer. We play soccer. Yeah. She's also new in the area. And then, there's always a lot of soccer events, some Cameroonian function. I've met her. I've seen her. I keep a close eye on her. And that's kind of how we met,
Awesome. And the rest is history, right?
It's history. Our first son was born in LA.
Really?
The one that came
out. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So, all right. So I know you talked a lot about it. I know you have a passion for this, for giving back to the community. Tell us a little bit about the Brain Project, how that started and what the inspiration was.
Definitely. So Brain Project Africa Foundation. So it's a humanitarian organization that we put together, mainly my wife, I, and another friend of mine in 2016, with the goal to try to give back as much as we can at our little level. It's like, at this point we've accumulated a little bit of experience that we can share with other part of where we're coming from that don't have that chance. And so we started talking about how we would put it together. We registered the foundation here in the state of Texas, and also in Cameroon. Then we kept just thinking about how we're going to do this, the mission and stuff. Then my wife said, okay, guys, you guys talking too much. Why don't you choose a date to go to a country and get started?
Do something, right?
Just get started.
Just do something. Yeah.
That's how the first mission for Brain Project was just me as the only surgeon. Really? It was me with some local neurosurgeon. So
where was that? What country?
It was in Cameroon in 2017, in the city of Douala. So I went there. I'm like, wow, there's not much I can do by myself, but I will do everything. I managed to grab an old microscope here. I went there. They had a bunch of patients lined up. Wow. And then we operated, gave them free surgeries, and help them with some very complex pathologies that some of the local guys may not have been familiar with, or just they did not have the technology. Sometimes we bring the implants that they need, and folks may have some unstable fracture that needs to be stabilized, but they can't because they don't have the type of implants. Right. So we did a lot, but it turns out every year it gets really better because I get to gather more and more doctors. Like the last time we went together in 2020 in Cameroon. Yes, sir. And really the fundamentals of the foundation are that we want to impact into the healthcare ecosystem at our own level, and so Brain Project Africa is kind of a platform where a lot of the experts in various aspects of healthcare delivery come in. We have even the executive, the biomed engineer, the surgeons, the techs, the physical,
clinical and non-clinical.
Physical and non-clinical. Because the reality is that if you want to make a change in our field, it's not just one angle. You got to hit it from multiple angles. I mean, you can do a beautiful surgery, but if that person doesn't have the proper rehab,
that's pointless, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of how we envision Brain Project. That's how we kind of run. So we have folks coming up from different side of medicine, and then and a lot of time based on the specialists that present, I pair up with a local facility and then get some similar physician over there that help us triage patient, and then we go through the process of decision making. And what's really interesting is that you've got specialists from different part of the world. Wow. Like, for instance, we have a mission coming up, and then the OMFS guy, one of us is from Florida, the other one is from Cali, Colombia. Wow. So, and they interact with the local guys. And when we do these surgery, we always try to pair up one of the local guys with one of the doctors from the foundation. That's so awesome. So really, really, really good thing.
Absolutely. And that's such a blessing, man. I mean, I can see, being part of it right before the pandemic when we went to Yaoundé then and did all those surgeries. And you see, people who are obviously good people, and you wonder, sometimes you wonder why and how does God allow, bad things to happen to good people. I mean, these are obviously good people that only fault of theirs is being born where they were born, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You and I just happen to be blessed to be on the other side of the ocean. Yeah. We're not any special as they are, right? But God has laid this gift in your hands, and being able to use it and give back to the people is such a blessing. And I see the impact that you're making in Cameroon. Are there plans to go to other countries in Africa?
Yes. So Brain Project has been to Ghana twice already.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Ghana is, and then we have some other countries.
When you come to Nigeria, man, come on.
Let me tell you how easy it's gonna be.
Talk to me.
As soon as you lead the way, you go ahead, you find out a place where we can go.
Amen.
I'll be available.
You'll be there. Absolutely. I love it. Yeah. Now, there's a young child, maybe in Yaoundé or in Lagos or even in California watching this right now saying, you know what? I want to be a neurosurgeon when I grow up. First and foremost, medicine is changing in America. It's the business of medicine is changing, the insurance and ACOs and all that stuff. First and foremost, would you advise that kid to follow the path of medicine? Yeah. And if you do, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think you touch on very, very important aspect of medicine that medicine is going through these days.
Right.
But the reality is that the medical profession is a profession that demands that one really, truly desires to spend time in it, wants to go into that, because I think it's still a beautiful field,
noble field, right?
And you can still impact the world significantly.
Absolutely.
And the technology is still going to just help you give the best outcome. So you have to have a fundamental desire to do that. And I think the best thing is expose yourself as early as feasible. When I decided to go into neurosurgery, I knew it very early when I was getting to college. So for a young guy, get started very early. Get yourself close to folks that are already in neurosurgery, so you can see their life and see that that's something that you may want to do, because you're going to need to have a found desire to do that kind of work on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And not just the young men, I'm sure young women too are
yes, no, definitely. And I think it's critical that you expose yourself, and most important as well, that you believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Because like we said earlier, no one else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
And frankly, it's not unsurmountable. It's very doable. I wasn't speaking English. Here I am. But in English.
But we hear all the time, hey, it's so hard, it's brain surgery or it's rocket science, but you're actually doing brain surgery, you know what I'm saying? So, but it is doable. You're a testament to that.
Yes. Obviously. Yes. Yeah.
Now, as Christians, we believe that we should live in community, and we should live. As Africans too, we believe in that community and village mentality, right? We want people, that have led the way, and we step on people's shoulders. I know you've talked about your dad, and it seems your dad is an important mentor in your life. Who are some other important mentors that have helped you get where you are today? Starting with your dad, and then
definitely my dad. Just for observing him, when I was around him, and the discipline that he had, and then just the desire for nothing else but excellence. And I think it's an internal cult that you can even cultivate very early. The cult of excellence, and that goes a long way. But he was really a key figure, and obviously as I came here and I started working alongside some professor, I remember. The one time one of the neurosurgery professor came and gave us the very first lecture in med school, as they were exposing us to different faculty and specialties, and I was just amazed with the calmness that he had, and then the beauty of the work that he was living, the life that he was living, and so. I was like, I want to be like that guy. And then I went to him. I'm like, sir, I want to shadow you and see what you do. And then he's like, yeah, come on in. He took me to his clinics, took me to his surgery. And then I was like, well, this is what I want to do. So from a very early stage, as we were going through the medical training, I already knew that everything that I'm doing is focused towards neurosurgery. So it goes back to the early you can get if you have the interest, get yourself in there, the earliest the better, and then and go full force.
That's beautiful. Now, we come from a different generation, man. This new generation now, they're all about work-life balance.
Yeah.
Talk to me about neurosurgery, man. Somebody say, hey, I don't want to be working 80 hours a week. I want to see my kids. I want to raise my kids. But what's the work-life balance like for a typical neurosurgeon?
Yeah. So again, there's different type of neurosurgeon, because I think your work-life balance depend on your work setting. Do you work for yourself? Number one. Do you work for someone? Do you work?
You're a university system, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So just to kind of break it down in big parts, you've got the academician neurosurgeon who trains younger neurosurgeon. He goes to the university. You have the private, and you have the private academic, and those are the two major subdivision.
Right.
And I'm a solo practitioner, so I got a little bit more control of my schedule, autonomy. And I think that was very significant for me. I mean, when I finished training, I initially got my first job in Mississippi, where I joined a group of other physicians in a multi-specialty clinic. And it was good because to start with, I needed to build some experience within the field. And then I had some senior guys around me. But very early, again, that becomes a mindset thing. I had the mindset that I wanted to have a bit more control on how I deliver neurosurgery.
Absolutely.
And I felt that there was just a lot more roadblock and people to talk to and people to ask questions to before anything could be implemented.
Too much red tape.
Yeah. And you find out there's a big administrative area that exists that probably, or most of them are being paid secondary to your work.
Absolutely.
And anytime you walk in the hall, you're like, I mean, what's your role here? What do you do here?
Why are you making decisions for me? Yeah.
So So I figured out very quick after maybe 3.5 years that
it wasn't for you, right?
I needed to have my own space, my own thing. But obviously, with a restricted covenant, I had to get out of Mississippi, and that's how I came here to Texas, you know. And the thing about it is that the more I built my own solo practice, the more I had control of my schedule. So yes. Like any business, when you have a business and you want it to be fruitful, you got to put some hours.
Got to put some hours in, yes.
And that's maybe where the hours are rough, you know. But at the same time, if you're your own boss, you can decide that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to work for a month.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm going to create. So that work balance, you can create it depending on where you are. Now, you may decide that you'd rather have a secure salary, be employed by someone. You don't want no headaches. You go 9 to 5, and then you can, I mean, but you're kind of at the mercy of what they want you to do.
Absolutely.
You know, because they're paying you. You know, and there's so I mean, time factor was the key one of deciding to be solo, but also you have the idea that you have a better control over what determines your productivity.
Absolutely.
You know, or your productivity is not going to entail other people dividing it.
Makes sense. So you get to practice how you want to practice.
Right? Exactly. That's really it. That was the most important because you know, there's less control as to how you want to deliver, you know, neurosurgery. You know?
That's beautiful, man. Now, you know, I'm sure everything it's not just peaches and cream. I know you came from a beautiful background. What are some challenges you had to deal with as a neurosurgeon, and how did your faith and how did your family, Barbara, how were you able to get through all that?
And I think it's an important point as anyone considers medicine, neurosurgery in particular, because it's well known the training to create a neurosurgeon is a rather rough training, even though there's been a lot of accommodation and adjustment that have been made to make the training hours reasonable.
More reasonable.
But you still have to recognize that the fundamental issue is there's very few neurosurgeons that are being trained. So all of a sudden, the few that are going through the training process just have a tremendous amount of work to do. So so definitely that can take a toll on the family. You know, I really feel fortunate that God brought Barbara to me.
Amen.
Because,
Amen. And I can testify to that. I know Barbara. She keeping this guy alive.
Because I tell you, I don't know how I would have done because, because one thing is, neurosurgery forces you to think only about neurosurgery.
Right.
So if you don't have somebody that can think for you about the rest or that cares for you enough to make sure outside of neurosurgery, you're still a normal human being.
Yes.
You're in trouble. Done. And that's the reason why, you know, I mean, among the medical fees, neurosurgery is the one with the highest divorce rate. Along with the OB up there. Because the training is just not, and you have to think about what's going on here. You know, if somebody is getting trained to operate on the brain and the spine, very, very, you know, delicate part of the human body.
Literally life and death. Literally.
Yes. And so the stress that comes with it, the tension and pressure that comes with it, it's going to be to a point that you're going to have to compromise some of the other part of your life. You're going to compromise your life, sometimes even your health, because you don't, I mean, I tell you, I sleep 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours is fine for me. You know, if I hit 6, 7 hours, good. And mind you, those are just the sequela of the training. I remember back in some days, my kids, when they were so little, they would cry when we're sleeping. I wouldn't wake up, but the minute that beeper goes off, beep, 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 boom. I'm out like a robot.
Like alert, awake, oriented.
It's and so you really need to consider what's your social support, I mean, your family support, what kind of support you have. You know, you need to make sure you create that support because you're going to need it, you know. Again, I feel every day I'm blessed. I feel fortunate that, man, if she wasn't here, there's been just a lot of difficulties for me. And then, and because you have to have a person around you that understand that worry not about the challenge now, look at the big picture. You got to have the big picture. She had the big picture. I mean, I remember back in the days when, you know, when my dad passed and I was still in training, financially it wasn't easy. And then we had little kids, and
they're not cheap.
Oh no! They eat and
eat, especially the boys.
But and that's why to me it's I mean, I feel blessed and I thank God every day that, man, despite all this challenge, you know, I wasn't the easiest guy to deal with, because at the time when you get stressed, you transpose the stress at home.
Of course, you bring
it
it home.
You gotta have, if you don't have somebody who can deal with it and take it and then not blow up, I don't know.
You're in trouble, man.
So I really feel blessed, man.
Such a blessing, and that's really, really good. Now, for people out there watching this who are inspired by this and want to get a hold of, Jean-Louis, man, you on Instagram, you on TikTok? I get the kids on TikTok now.
Yeah, no, that's right. I'll tell you, I have someone who handle all of that.
Okay,
but what I can tell you that I can remember, my website, drbenae.com.
Okay, spell Benae.
Benae, B as in boy, E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, A Apple, E Edwards, Benae.com. Awesome. Or you can also check out our Brain Project. And by the way, Brain Project in Brain is just an acronym for bringing resources and infrastructure.
Wow. And I never knew that.
Yeah. That's why we got multiple people going on. It's not just Brain. I just happened that it was started by a brain surgeon as well. But
right.
But www.brainproject.co, you can find some information there.
Awesome.
And we have my clinic is here in McKinney, Texas. Beautiful. North Texas Brain and Spine Specialist. North Texas Brain and Spine Specialist in McKinney, Texas.
Awesome. Man, we want to say a big thank you for sitting down and giving us some of your time today, man. A lot of people are going to be inspired by this, and we got to do a part 2, man. There's more to come, right?
No problem, brother. No problem. And I really appreciate it. And thanks for allowing me to talk to you guys today.
Absolutely. God bless. Appreciate
you, brother.
All right, guys. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and please share this video, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.